Here we go now.
What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I almost didn't know if I was going to be able to do Tuesday Takeover this week. It's a busy week. A lot of things are going on. Things are going on. Don't forget your taxes are due tomorrow. Just an FYI. FYI. Welcome to Tuesday Takeover, where we cover a variety of pop culture news and reality TV news. Be sure to let me know if you can see me, hear me, all that good stuff, and also let me know where you are watching from. That includes the replay crew. I always want to hear where you guys are, where you're watching from and what you have going on. We always start Tuesday Takeover with some good news, so let me know what is your good news as well. Yes, exactly. Hair Hype says, please forget them 3 miserable people. It stood out to me. Shout out to the 111 of you that have already liked the video, though. Thank you. And I do try to focus on the positive. I just found it to be random. The live hadn't even started yet, and it was already 3 dislikes. It just lets me know that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We got people pressed for no reason. Did you not like what we had to say in regards to the title? What was the reason? But it's okay. It's all right. Stay miserable, because I'm gonna do so well and so incredible that you're going to be so even more miserable and jealous. So continue watching, because I know you still are. Shout out to everyone watching. Patricia's watching from New York City. Kimberly's watching from Dallas. Niecy's watching from the DMV. Jazzy's watching from Wisconsin. Mention It All is watching from Philly. Exactly. Miss Melon Match says, bling, bling, bling. Bees are mad. All right. Deborah says, done and already spent. Niecy says, get them. We're done with them. Shout out to everyone watching from around the country and around the world. We appreciate you all being here for Tuesday Takeover. Oh, I love it. Dana says, my son got accepted to 4 colleges, graduation in May. Congratulations. Johannesburg is in the building. Sharita from Detroit is checking in. What's going on, Sharita? Philly is in the building. What's going on, Philly? Deborah's watching from Los Angeles. Vicky's watching from Phoenix. What's going on? Judy's watching on Twitch. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. Don't forget, guys, you can watch us multiple places, but I hear Twitch, the video quality and sound quality are top tier. I'm streaming in 4K. I'm still streaming in 4K on YouTube, but apparently it's just very different. Either Scientist is watching on Louisiana, from Louisiana. Lil Mom is watching from Chattanooga. Coffee Love is watching from Baltimore. Dion is watching from Houston. What's going on? TJ is watching from Alabama. Bernadette is watching from Jersey. Golden Gal is watching on Twitch from Toronto. So shout out to all of you for being here. Congratulations, Dana. And if you're part of the replay crew, I want to know your good news. What is your good news today? My good news, finally, New York City has some pum pum shorts weather. And y'all can't see it, but I got my pum-pum shorts on. Okay. I went to Pilates this morning. I'm feeling good. I had a good session. It's beautiful outside. The birds are chirping. The sirens are sirening. Katy's watching from Brooklyn. Latanya said, you look good on YouTube watching from Atlanta. Thank you, Latanya. What's going on, Atlanta? Tish is watching from Tampa. Okay. Lynette? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. At Lynette Martinez is watching from Aloha, Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, I'm jealous. You've been having fantastic weather, I'm sure, there, right? All right. Thank you to everyone that's watching from around the country. Again, continue to let me know what your good news is. I already told you what my good news is. It's a little warm in the studio though, because I can't turn on the AC in the studio because it's loud. You might not be able to hear it, but I hear it. So here we are. I do have the AC on in the rest of the home, but I'm just like, I can't in the studio. All right, exactly. Ashley says, Kempire got them knees out. You're gonna see them knees today. All right, all right. All right, where do I even want to begin? There's so much that I want to talk about. For those that keep asking, Kempire, are you talking about Real Housewives of Rhode Island? Yes. I talked about it on the Friday Live, not this past Friday Live, the previous one. There's timestamps. I've talked about it last Tuesday Takeover. I've talked about episodes 1 and 2 on 2 separate lives. There are timestamps available. I will be talking about it today. I will be adding the timestamps hopefully later today. Okay. All right. All right, let me just open my notes and see where I want to even begin with Tuesday and what's going on in Tuesday. All right, let me give you the update. So yesterday we recapped Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we had some breaking news in regards to Drew Sidora. So Drew Sidora, although she released a statement over the weekend that's saying that she is trying to work with Ralph Pittman in regards to their co-parenting, in court she's saying to the judge, I can't move out of my marital home because I would be homeless with my eldest son. Because the eldest son she did not adopt with Ralph did not adopt. So this order where she was primary custody was taken from her due to, at the time they said excessive absences. We found out it was also excessive lateness for the kids. All right, so we gave you the breaking news that she told the judge that she can't move out in the time frame that they're giving her. The judge told her that she'd have to move out of this home by the end of next month. Well, we're getting more details, and shout out to you guys that let me know, that called in and let me know that Chronicle Speaks, who's always on it, so shout out to Chronicle Speaks, had this information even before TMZ, but now TMZ is reporting that Drew and Ralph's monthly incomes are very different. Look, Ralph has said before that he makes a lot of money in the tech world, and we didn't believe him because he gives creep vibes. But apparently he really does. He makes a lot of money. Can we do the math? No, hold on. Let me get my calculator out. In my Medea voice, let me get my calculator out because this is a lot of money. Well, I'm happy for those kids. At least we know Drew doesn't get Robrokies. But is she getting anything out of this divorce? Look, they've been divorcing since 2023. So if he's making this much money, she needs to get spousal support and she needs to get child support. However, if the kids are under him, she might have to pay him. Well, no, based off of the discrepancies in regards to how much he makes more than her, but he has primary custody. So will she have to pay him child support? Look, I don't think it's going to stay this way. They're already saying that the physical custody will be for just the school year. And I guess they'll decide once they figure out this divorce. But they still have joint legal custody, meaning they make the decisions when it comes to religion and medical and schools and things like that. Well, according to TMZ, they said the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Drew Sidora's 5-figure monthly income was exposed as a part of her ugly divorce battle. This is according to court docs from her messy divorce. The court docs obtained by TMZ show that the Bravo star pulls in an average $12,066 per month. So come on, let's do the math. And look, keep in mind, we don't know if Drew is having some of this money go into an LLC. We've talked about this before. So her monthly income might be $12,000 a month, which is a good amount of money. But she probably is making money in other ways that are going into an LLC. So keep that in mind. This is not necessarily how much Drew is actually pulling in. Okay. All right. Let me do the math. So they're saying that Drew makes $12,600. Let me do the. So Drew. Okay, that's some of y'all would love this income. So she's making approximately, because keep in mind, all of this can change with Drew depending on sponsorships, depending on movie deals, depending on performances. So keep that in mind. Her monthly income can change. So according to the court doc, she's making $12,066 per month in comparison to his, which we'll get to. So for the year, if she stayed making about $12,000 a month, she would total $144,792. Not bad, especially living in Atlanta where the cost the cost of living is lower than in New York. This is look, $12,000 a month in New York. You can survive, but it'd be a struggle. It'd be a struggle. And people are struggling. Well, so that's how much she makes a month in gross income. Gross. Well, that doesn't mean that's how much she's taking home. Damn. All right. While Ralph Pittman, who reportedly works in technology, probably because they can't verify his employment. They said who reportedly works in technology earns $71,524 a month in gross income. So that's not necessarily how much he's actually taking home if it's gross. But hold on, let me see how much that is a year. Please hold. Look, not us doing math. Damn. So he takes home $858,288 a year. And I'm thinking with Ralph, that's probably going to be steady income, because if he's working a regular 9 to 5, meaning like he has a corporate job, his monthly income is not really going to change like Drew's might change, unless he's doing sponsorships and things like that. And he probably could do sponsorships and things like that because he's been on reality television. All right. Wow. No, not 7,100, $71,524 a month he takes home. So he's taking home nearly 7 figures a year. I didn't look, but at least we know she didn't get with a brokey. But they don't have a prenuptial agreement either, right? Drew, who is your attorney? People keep saying that it's Phaedra. It's not Phaedra, because they weren't even in a good place at one particular point last year. So who is her divorce attorney? Is it the same lady from what we saw last season? Drew should not walk away without spousal support and child support and the house. But now she's getting kicked out the house. She's got to vacate by next month. And she's lost physical custody due to extreme latenesses for the kids going to school. I don't know, y'all. This is crazy to me. And I honestly, when you guys told me yesterday about the $72,000 a month, I was like, really? I was really shocked by that. So they continue to say the finances being revealed come as Ralph was awarded temporary primary custody of their 2 kids after a recent hearing. The decision came after Ralph told a judge their kids had been excessively absent while in Drew's care. So that's where they got the information from. As TMZ first reported, Drew was also ordered to vacate the marital home by the end of next month. The RHOA star told the judge that she will be homeless if the court doesn't reverse course, claiming that she doesn't have the funds to move out on her own at the moment. Because you also have to think, too, it's not like she can just go move into a 1-bedroom apartment. She's got to move into a place where she can be able to have 3 kids to live with her. Damn, Drew. I feel for Drew. But at the same time, I'm just like, he had to show signs of being this type of person. Because this is the type of person that we've seen since we were introduced to Ralph. So I don't feel like this is a whole new person. But Drew's been working overtime. She's definitely been working overtime. I've seen her in a bunch of different movies. And I know some of you are going to be like, well, there are Tubi movies. And Tubi's making money over there. Don't be surprised. So if she's booking consistent gigs with Tubi and these different outlets, and she's filming Real Housewives. She's been on Real Housewives for what, 5 seasons now? She should be making, come on. But again, the amount of money that she's making from Real Housewives, is that going into an LLC, and that's not being considered as a part of her monthly income? I don't know. Damn, Toya said Drew can afford an apartment. No empathy from me. Damn, cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. All right, shout out to all the members in the chat. I love seeing all the members in the chat. Shout out to our King's Guards, guys. Don't forget to show some love to our King's Guards. It's not an easy job handling our community sometimes. Ruth says, what tech job is this? I swear we all want to know. I know tech folk questioning this number. Well, I mean, you have to prove this in court. You can't just put down any old number. And why would he put such a big number if it wasn't close to true? I don't know, y'all. Well, I was just as shocked as all of you. So apparently Drew makes about $12,000 a month. And and Mr. Sidora makes about 72. Wow. Hmm. All right. The Gus AF says, but my friend Kenya said broke bees split checks. She's so iconic. You can't, no matter how you feel about Kenya, Kenya gives you the moment. She delivers in the moment. Last night we were talking on TikTok. I went live on TikTok. If you're not following me, you should. TheKempire. And I said, I would love to see a Real Housewives of Atlanta Legacy Ultimate Girls Trip. I get it. Right now, they're in the middle of editing Ultimate Girls Trip, the 20th anniversary. But in the next 2 years, I would like to see very much what they did with RHONY. They only did that because the RHONY reboot that they were trying to do with the OGs fell apart. I would like to see an RHOA Legacy Ultimate Girls Trip. I would like for that to include Kenya, but right now, Bravo's not going to work with Kenya because of the lawsuit they're dealing with Britt Eady. So maybe we can wait a year or two while that's finalized and then bring Kenya back. I want to see NeNe come back. I want to see, I'm on the, I still want to see Phaedra come back, although I don't feel like Phaedra's bringing it this season or last season or on Married to Medicine. But I would like to see a legacy, and Phaedra's a part of the legacy. So I would love to see her come back. NeNe should spearhead this. And I know what you're all thinking. Y'all forget that NeNe was lackluster in her last couple of years. I get that. She was. But she's been off of reality television for a long time. I think after people see Ultimate Girls Trip, you're going to be like, I think even the people that were on the fence about NeNe coming back will be like, well, you know what? Bring NeNe back. That's just how I feel. And this is not talking from sources. This is not talking from what I've heard about the edit. I mean, I've heard a couple of things about the edit, but you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I would like to see a legacy. Candy, Lou Mack says, I would like to see all of that. And maybe during legacies, we will get the finally a sit down between Candy and Phaedra. I think there's been enough time in between. I get it. There were very serious allegations, but I think the audience and Phaedra and Candy could use a conversation, because even at BravoCon when Candy was honored, even Phaedra was there attentive and clapping and things like that. So maybe during Legacy we can have that conversation. And I know what you guys are thinking, and then maybe Candy can return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think Candy should return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's bigger than the program now. But I get it. Candy made a very good check on Atlanta, and I understood why she stayed. But I think Candy should move on and continue to do what she's been doing. Okay. Lana says, yes, we need that sit down. I think it would heal the world. Heal the world. Claudia Jordan made an appearance on RHOA. We did not talk about it yesterday. And it wasn't because we were being shady. She didn't really say anything, but she did make an appearance because she was in Drew Sidora's movie. And we just had other things to talk about during our recap. But Claudia made an appearance, and I've always said, after Claudia did her one season, I said Claudia did a great job. She should have come back, and she was offered to come back, but she wanted to be full-time. And now she said recently that she regrets making that decision. Look, I don't think she should regret making that decision, but if we're going to do Legacy, I wouldn't be mad if Claudia joined. I wouldn't be mad if Marlo joined. But I only want some of the main standouts to come. And maybe Claudia would just come and do like a pop-up. Very much like what you're going to see during Ultimate Girls Trip, the 20th anniversary, whatever they're calling it. Maybe pop-ups from some of the people over time. But the mainstays like Sheree, I'm on the fence about Kim Zolciak, because you remember Kim came back and then said racism doesn't exist. I'm good on Kim. It depends. I feel like we need a solid 8 housewives, and I think we already have 8 without Kim. But I'm good on Kim Zolciak. I know she needs the money. I know she's got a lot going on, but is she really going to tell us what's going on? And it seems like Bravo doesn't really want to work with her like that. Just saying. I know she's more than willing and ready, and I know some of you will say, Kempire, but she was on Next Gen NYC. Yeah, they'll work with her in sprints, but that's about it. All right. All right, moving on. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. This is our Tuesday takeover where we cover a variety of pop culture news and reality television. I will be talking about Real Housewives of Rhode Island in just a moment. Since we're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, I did have another update in regards to Pinky Cole. How are you guys feeling about Pinky Cole? I think it's still too early. We had a long conversation about that conversation she had with her husband. I don't know. I'm just going to wait and see. But you know what we say? When you see something, say something. So we said something. Okay. We said something. We shall see. So TMZ has another exclusive in regards to Pinky Cole and what's currently going on with her bankruptcy. So they said Real Housewives of Atlanta star Pinky Cole, which is so crazy to me because now Real Housewives supersedes the fact that she is a slutty vegan entrepreneur, $100 million brand. But now it's been resorted to. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Pinky Cole is pleading with a judge to allow her to file financial paperwork under seal in her ongoing bankruptcy case, fearing it will spread around the internet, TMZ has learned. Which is true, because we've been covering and talking about her financial situation. But she's also perpetuated it on her social media, creating all these skits, which I'm not mad at, but you've leaned into it. Now all of a sudden we need to mind our business. Now, all of a sudden, we need to mind our business, Pinky. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, they said Pinky, who calls herself a Damn! Why do you have to say it like that? But I get it. They said Pinky, who calls herself a, quote, celebrity, best known for creating the slutty vegan restaurant chain, said her Chapter 11 filing has already been used by content creators and written about by media outlets, including TMZ. Pinky said that she has a number of companies that she's required to file information on in the case. She complained about TMZ breaking a story about one of her creditors seizing one of her homes, which we talked about. The court ended up granting Pinky's request for the home to be returned to her. So now she wants it under seal, which, again, this is a common legal move. It makes sense, and you never know. A judge might say, yes, we will seal it. There's no reason for the public to know. But... and look, I'm no attorney. I'm wondering, because we're talking about elements where your business, well, our business is not public anymore, right? Or it never was public. But I don't know, Pinky. I get it. You don't want us in your business when it's convenient for you, but now you're on a whole reality show talking about your business. Literally, like your business. Okay. Aunt Sean says, I'm still feeling Pinky out. It's only 2 episodes in, y'all. I get it. I'm asking you the question. But keep that in mind. We're only 2 episodes in. Amara says, Pinky is MAGA. It's on trend for her to have bad money dealings. Well, damn. Well, I will say this. Pinky has denied being MAGA despite following the president and some other Trumps as well. She says that she's not MAGA. But so did Chili. Chili says she's not MAGA either. And survey says that's a lie.
Lies! The lie!
That's a lie. All right. So that's the update on Pinky. Okay. Chastina, thank you so much for the super chat. Chastina says, hey, Kempire, woo, woo, woo. And sidebar, are we in wait, woo, 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 and sidebar are in my daily vocab these days. Thanks for doing what you do. I haven't done a woo, woo, woo in a hot second. I mean, I have, but not as consistently as I would like. So, woo, woo, woo. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate the support, guys. You could also support just by liking today's video. All right, where do I want to go from here? Well, since we're talking about the Housewives, let's talk about Lisa Hochstein. Lisa. So Lisa Hochstein, I'm glad I saw this video because, well, this post. Lisa Hochstein was in the news yesterday, and I said, you know, I'm just going to wait to Tuesday Takeover to talk about Lisa and what's going on with Lisa Hochstein. So apparently, Jody was arrested last month. Hold on, let me show you his mugshot. Let me just pull this up, y'all. So, and everyone's saying they need to bring Real Housewives of Miami back with all what's going on. And I'm like, you got a point, because so much is going on right now. And the funny thing is that this story stems from a 2023 incident. And I'm not understanding why all of a sudden this is coming out, but I'm glad recently Lisa Hochstein has spoken out, and she basically confirmed what I was thinking, that it's convenient timing that this is making it into the headlines. That man ain't no good. But we've been saying, it's been a while since we said Lenny is trash, but Lenny is trash. He's trash. Because, first of all, y'all see this? And let me just say this first. They weren't the criminal charges that Lisa and Jody are facing have nothing to do with AC. Because I know, especially looking at this mugshot of Jody, because he was arrested last month. Looking at this mugshot, you'd be like, wait, was he arrested for AC? And if you have not watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, we're talking about they have denied that. I will just say that. The Jamaican queen is Lisa Hochstein. You didn't know she's Jamaican? Mm-hmm. We met her mother and her aunt, not last season, maybe the previous season. They're Jamaican. Yes, come on now. That's our Jamaican queen. All right. Let me give you the update on what's going on with Lisa, because this is a situation. Let me see if I can even find it. Like, I have so many articles open here. All right. So according to the Local 10 News in Miami, they said Real Housewives of Miami star Lisa Hochstein and her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, sorry, let me clarify, her ex-boyfriend, because apparently she's got a new man. The new man looks better than this one, Jody. Sorry, Jody, but not sorry. I'm being honest, okay? They said Real Housewives of Miami star Lisa Hochstein and her ex-boyfriend, Jody Glendon, are each facing criminal charges in Miami-Dade County, court documents show. They said a March 19th court filing states that Glendon, who's 52, and Hochstein, who's 43, are each facing one count of interception of wire, oral, and electronic communications. I heard that Lisa's facing more counts, based on what I saw, than Jody. A description of the charges states that between March 12th and March 31st of 2023, that's important to know, because some of you are thinking, oh, wait, this was last month. No, this stems from 3 years ago. They said that the two, quote, unlawfully and intentionally tried to intercept, or tried to have someone else intercept oral statements by Leonard Hochstein, Lenny, who's trash, and those Leonard Hochstein spoke with. They said records show that Glendon was taken into custody Saturday. Hold on, when's this article? Oh no, this is recent. He wasn't arrested last month. He was arrested this month. Records show that Jody was taken into custody Saturday. He no longer appeared in the online jail database on Monday. Right? Amara says, Lisa, keep a man. She really does, but that's not necessarily good for the children, Lisa. But okay. Lenny Hochstein, a prominent plastic surgeon in South Florida, is Lisa Hochstein's ex-husband. They share 2 children together. According to Page 6 article from May 2023, Lenny Hochstein accused his ex-wife of planting a listening device on his car in an attempt to monitor his calls. Lisa Hochstein denied the claims to Page 6. Attorney Jane Weintraub, Hochstein's defense counsel, and attorneys Howard Strebnick and Frank Gaviria, Glendon's defense counsel, released a joint statement to Local 10 News on Monday afternoon saying this matter is a part of a contentious divorce proceeding and does not belong in criminal court. Aren't they divorced already, Lisa and Lenny? So, like, what are they fighting about besides, like, custody and what's going on with custody? Didn't they finalize the divorce? But maybe they're still figuring out the details of what she's supposed to. Isn't she supposed to get like a property from him and he's supposed to build her a house and stuff like that? So Lenny is accusing Lisa from 2023 putting a listening device in his car. Do we believe she did it? Read between the lines. Read between the lines. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, I'm just looking at the camera, moving my head every which way. Read between my... What do you guys think? I mean, dealing with what Lisa was dealing with, I wouldn't blame her. However, that's against the law. But the fact that this is coming up now, the fact that Jody was arrested, they're not even together. Wouldn't that piss you off if you're no longer dating someone and something that was happening during their divorce is affecting you now? But this is why people look, this is why people say Don't get involved with someone that's going through a divorce. I said it during the time. I was like, I wouldn't get involved with Lisa. She's got too much going on. She shouldn't even be jumping into a new relationship, dealing with what she's dealing with. But he wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho. And I'm not saying that she's a hoe. It's a saying. Calm down. I'm not, he wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho and pay for this and buy our apartment, live with me and blah, 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 and buy some AC and da, 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 da. Toya says, you're shaking your head. No Kempire. Oh, was I? Was that? What was I? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Body language. But this is why you don't get involved with someone when they're in the middle of a divorce. This is just a life lesson for all of us. Okay? And now look how 3 years later, Jody's getting locked up. Not for AC, for those that are just joining us, locked up for planting a listening device. That's crazy to me. I never heard of anyone getting arrested for something like this. However, you're not going to believe this. We have a similar story like this to talk about on Real Housewives of Rhode Island. It's not in the news yet. It will be, though. It will be. Because we have to talk about Rulla's husband doing this to her. Oh, we'll get to it when we talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I know, you're probably like, what? Yes. Okay? Yes. So that's the update in regards to what's going on with Lisa Hochstein. I'm assuming Lisa was never arrested. I don't know if she will negotiate something with the police and go in and handle this. I'm assuming she will. But damn. Ooh, Toya says, exactly. Close your legs to married people's men. Period. Oh, to married people, she said. All right. Foxy says, Rulla's husband is cray-cray. We're going to talk about Rulla's husband in a second. I just couldn't believe. I was like, this can't be real. I had to look up the story myself. I was like, because sometimes you see things on the internet and you're like, someone did some artificial intelligence here. No. Literally, this is what Rulla was dealing with on Rhode Island. We will get to Rhode Island in a second. So I wanted to give you guys this update in regards to what's going on with Lisa Hochstein. All right, let's take a little bit of a break from there and say thank you to our sponsor for today. I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, new year, new me. However, it can be a new year and a new you. Everyone is trying to get back into the gym. They're trying to do some weight loss things. You may have also heard of GLP-1s. Well, our friends over at RHOA has gotten you covered with the new GLP-1 pill. The pill is a new, more convenient and approachable way to GLP-1s if you've been thinking about it. A self-administered shot can be a bit intimidating. But now there's a pill that delivers comparable results. If you've been thinking about getting on a GLP-1, RHOA might be the way to do it. They have 100% online care, access to clinically proven, FDA-approved medications, free insurance checks, side effect management, dosing support, and more. RHOA offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. The new GLP-1 pill has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. This is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. You may have also seen Serena Williams talk about collaborating and endorsing RHOA as well. As a world-class athlete, she also wanted to drop pounds after having children. If I had needed this particular option, this is what I would use. A pill versus a shot, why not? Go to ro.co/Kempire to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on RHOA. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on RHOA. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medication. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. And we're back. Apologies, y'all. Look, when you're adding a new graphic. All right. Anyways, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Again, more information on our sponsors will be available in the description, including my shirt. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, but if you're listening on the podcast, get your Are You Okay? Merch are now available, including the coffee cups that you guys have been asking for. The mugs are also available there. The traveling mug is available as well. Be sure to check it out. All this information will be available in the description. All right. Okay. Where is Kendra? Right? It was Kendra yesterday that sent the super chat about this Katy Perry story. And look, here I am talking about this Katy Perry story. So I just decided just for giggles to talk about this Katy Perry story because it came up at the end of our live yesterday. So here we are talking about this Katy Perry story and Ruby Rose. So Ruby Rose wrote on social media about an incident that happened with her and Katy Perry. So according to Variety, Batgirl and Orange is the New Black actor Ruby Rose alleged on Threads that Katy Perry SA'd her at a nightclub in Melbourne. Rose was responding to a post published by Complex that covered Perry's reaction to Justin Bieber's headlining set at Coachella's music festival. I miss Justin Bieber's performance, but I've been hearing I've seen clips and things like that. I've seen so many people reacting to it that it was really incredible and some of the symbolism that you're seeing in it. And I'm hearing that possibly we might get something very similar to what Beyonce did with her Coachella performance. So maybe it will show up on one of the streaming platforms like Netflix. I hope so, because I really would like to see it in full because I heard it was really beautiful. And I love what he's doing with his career right now, taking back the power in regards to his content and how he's licensing his music to Def Jam, meaning that he still owns his masters. And because remember, he was having some financial troubles as well. All right, back from that. So according to Ruby, she says, Katy Perry SA'd me at a Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne. Who gives an ish what she thinks, Rose wrote. A representative for Perry reacted to the claim in a statement to Variety that reads, the allegations being circulated on social media by Ruby Rose about Katy Perry are not only categorically false, they are dangerous, reckless lies. I mean, you know, one way you can prove that is by suing her. Just saying. And I get it. Some people it's not worth it, but to be accused of SA. Ms. Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media against various individuals, claims that have repeatedly been denied by those named. Which that did stand out to me because this is not the first time Ruby has blasted a well-known person on social media recently. So Variety has reached out to Rose's representative for additional comment. According to Rose, the alleged incident occurred when she was in her 20s. She's now in her 40s. She responded to one fan who asked for details by writing, she didn't kiss me. She saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her and bent down, pulled her underwear to the side, and rubbed her disgusting vajayjay, oh my God, on my face until my eyes snapped open and I projectile vomited on her. That's very specific, though. That is very specific. You know what I mean? She says, after it, I threw up on her. I told the story publicly, but changed it to be funny little drunk story because I didn't know how to else handle it. Rose responded to another fan. Later, she agreed to help me get my US visa, so I kept it a secret. But I did tell y'all she wasn't a good person. OMG. She says, I was only in my early 20s. I'm now 40. It has taken almost 2 decades to say this publicly. Though I am so grateful to have made it long enough to find my voice, it just shows how much of an impact trauma and SA takes. Thank you for seeing me. What do you guys believe? I mean, that's very specific. Oh my God. Like, ooh. So this is like a 20-year-old story, almost 20-year-old story. Keisha says, hold on, Kempire, rewind, say that again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again since you guys are asked. So this is what Ruby Rose had to say in regards to an interaction with Katy Perry that stems back to like almost 20 years. She says, according to Rose, the alleged incident occurred when she was in her 20s. She responded to one fan who asked for details by writing, "She didn't kiss me. She saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her and bent down, pulled her underwear to the side, and rubbed her disgusting vajayjay on my face until my eyes snapped open and I projectile vomited on her. After it, I threw up on her. I told the story publicly but changed it to be funny little drunk story because I didn't know how else to handle it. Later, she agreed to help me get my U.S. visa, so I kept it a secret, but I did tell y'all she wasn't a good person." Look, Alma says, why would she lie, though? I don't know. Look, I don't know. It's a very specific story. Very specific. Katy Perry is now dating Justin Trudeau. Interesting. They both were at Coachella too. Interesting. I Am a True Gem says, the more I learn of Katy Perry, the more I believe any random thing about her. She did whatever Ruby said she did. She also claims that she's an astronaut, Katy Perry. So anyway, so Kendra, you asked for the update. So Kendra's probably not here right now, but we'll put the timestamp. Kendra, that one was for you. Hey, Siesta says, Kempire, love just in time for my post-gym shower. I know that's right. All right, just in time. Not Justin. Just in time for my post. Okay, all right, we'll be in the shower with you. Wasn't the Katy Perry? Look, wasn't the Katy Perry? Oh, CAMEO says, why take the visa, though? I mean, look, I'm not going to judge people that have gone through trauma with people and in order to get certain things in their careers. There's so many stories of that, especially in Hollywood, of people that have remained silent to abuse in order to elevate themselves. There are a lot of people that you know and love that have been elevated, because I know some of you are thinking, like, how did this person make it to be like a huge name, an actor or actress? And you see so many talented actors on Broadway that never get that opportunity, or you see them in other like smaller movies, and you're like, how did that happen? Well, they're Siesta says, no peeking Kempire. You know what? I'm feeling harassed. No. This is hilarious. Exactly, Toya. I saw this story too, because now that story is resurfacing. Toya says Anna Kendrick accused Katy Perry of SA2. There's a story about that that's now resurfacing that Anna Kendrick told before. Damn it, Toya, I wish I had saved the video I saw last night, because I randomly was swiping through TikTok, and there's this lady, this white woman from North Carolina that flew to Nigeria. It was her first time ever flying out of the country. I think it was her first time ever flying. And she was meeting her boyfriend, who's Nigerian, and she's taking us through the airport. And I'm thinking the comment section were ripping her apart, saying, oh God, has she not seen 90 Day Fiance? It's about to be Angela and Michael all over again. Oh gosh. Toya says, people go through a lot to get a visa. Have you seen 90 Day Fiance? Yeah. Lisa and Daniel, Miss Carolina said. My gosh. But I watched the entire video. I'm like this on my phone late last night. I need to get the update on this story. Cause we love a 90 Day Fiance. That Tuesday takeover is when we used to talk about 90 Day Fiance. Remember? I can't keep up with 90 Day Fiance anymore, y'all. There's too many iterations. But I do kind of miss the show. I used to watch it religiously for a long time during the pandemic, and we used to talk about it all the time here on Tuesday Takeover. But there's no way I can't. I just can't. There's just so many other things to talk about. Foxy says, Michael and Angela part 2. Well, we talked about Michael and Angela. They finalized their divorce. Did y'all not hear about that? We talked about that before. I don't remember where we talked about it. Go back. We did talk about that. So Michael and Angela have divorced, but Michael won. Michael won because finally he played the long game, and he's now here in America with his green card. Michael won. And he's divorced from Angela. He's a free man. I mean, he's still a Trump supporter. He's MAGA. Y'all didn't know? I don't know if he's still MAGA, or I don't know if he just did, pretended to be MAGA in order to get into the country and to be with Angela. But he might be MAGA. It wouldn't shock me. But all right, I digressed. Look, Toya says just do 90 Day the other way and the UK. That's 3. And I know there's so many other new ones that they've now launched, but those were the 3 we were watching and recapping. Oh, damn. Well, you know what? I'm going to ignore some of the comments because the comments are lit. Sidebar, speaking of lit, did you guys see the footage over the weekend of the Real Housewives of Potomac ladies? I didn't plan to talk about it, but since I'm here and I remembered, let's talk about it. I don't have the footage right now. If you follow me on socials, if you follow any of our favorite accounts, I'm sure you could probably see it on No Chaser TV on IG. You can see it there. Well, the ladies were at the Washington Wizards game over the weekend, and we just talked about, I think it was on Friday Live. Yeah, it was Friday's Live, where Bravo came out and released, these will be the women that will be a part of season 11 for Real Housewives of Potomac. And that was the big announcement was Ashlee was coming back. Giselle's coming back. Karen's coming back. Wendy's coming back. Stacey's coming back. And regular Robin's coming back. But regular Robin's coming as a friend of. So that was the announcement. And they made that announcement clearly because they knew that they would be filming in a public space. Sidebar. One lady was filming and production came up to the lady, please don't film. Ma'am, you are in a public space. You can't tell people not to film. You brought these ladies out there. You weren't even filming yourselves. We're filming them in their environment. Okay? All right. Toy says, I saw the footage. I just want to, first of all, I have a couple of questions. I want to know what the hell was Stacey wearing? What was that dress that Stacey had on with sneakers? I was like, what is going on, Stacey? You look a hot mess. This is your 3rd season. Like, get it together. But okay. Also, there's the information coming out about possible newbies. There's another black housewife that's being considered. Some people are reacting to, apparently she's like a prophet, maybe? A pastor? No, she's a pastor. And there's a video going around where she says that she heard from the Lord, and that people, the end is coming. And okay, I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say all of this, but basically she was saying that we need to start preparing. Look, I follow a lot of woo-woo accounts, and a lot of people were saying the same thing that this young lady was saying. Sidebar, the young lady also was the wedding planner for Cynthia's COVID wedding. Y'all remember? Okay. So she was the party planner for Cynthia's wedding. Not party planner, the wedding planner, the event planner. So apparently, she knows quite a few of the people. Word on the street, she's coming through Tia. So if you see the video footage, you see her next to Tia. All right. The other person that they're I don't have the name of the people in front of me, y'all. So I apologize because I didn't even plan to talk about them. But you'll get to learn their names soon. If you follow me on X, I posted about at least the party planner. Okay. The other person that they're saying is a white woman that I believe is married to a black man. And now it's causing a lot of people to react saying, we don't need Potomac to have any white people. They don't want a white housewife. Some people are saying it feels like Kim Zolciak. Is that what Potomac is going in? I'm okay with this woman coming onto the show. We don't know if she's going to be a friend of. We don't know if she's going to be full-time. I'm thinking a friend of. But she might be great, y'all. She might be great. I'm open to whoever, if it makes sense. If these are people that people really know and are involved with. Apparently, this woman might have been a stylist for it. Well, you know what? Send her to jail. Because if this was the style, I don't know if she's a stylist or if she is like a hairstylist or something like. Either way, for Stacey looking the way Stacey was looking during this first day of filming, group event, and her friend was involved. First of all, the fact you let your friend come out looking like that, Send her to jail. Toya says, we have enough isms on that show. You're right. Look, you're right. It's not going to get any better, is it, huh? Oh, Lord Potomac. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ooh, hold on. D Jelly says, I think a white woman could shake it up and expose more of Giselle's colorism and views on race. Sips tea. Well, we shall see. Bravo has not confirmed whether or not these women will even be on the show. Keep in mind, this is only the first week of filming. These women could be edited out. Bravo could be like, yeah, it's just not clicking. And they could easily, yes, they could be sitting with the rest of the ladies. And you will never see them. There is a photo that I posted where you see the OGs together. So it could be easily where those newbies are edited out. Okay. Ubuntu? Did I pronounce that correctly? Ubuntu says, side note, why is Tamara Mowry Housley trending on Threads? She's trending probably because she announced that she's now on Threads, and maybe people are dragging her because, you know, the tamaga of it all. I don't know, but I did see when she posted, "Hey guys, I'm new to Threads." It's like she came into the room very much like Hillary Rodham Clinton, former secretary, came in, and former first lady came into that apartment, kind of looking around. So that's the energy that Thread post that she posted gave me. But you know, all right. You guys will let me know your thoughts on Real Housewives of Potomac and what's to come in regards to casting. Are you happy with the casting? Are you not happy with the casting? Are you happy with a white woman possibly being on this cast? If it makes sense to me. Oh, Funky says because they chased her off of Threads. I knew it. The moment she came in there looking around like, hey guys, I'm new to Threads. And I knew they had to be dragging her. I didn't even check the comments. I did not even check the comments. I assumed that's why she started trending. She's like, hey guys. Damn, Melly says they dragged her for filth. Oh, I feel bad. Look, I feel bad. I saw the post and I said, no. I'm not going to even read the comments. Deborah says Tia has a new man. Well, speaking of, we are just, I love how you guys just add to my plate of what we're talking about. So Tia Mowry has a new man. And I know nothing about this new man, but she's finally gone public with this man. They were seen out on the streets kissing. She looks great. She's 40-something years old. She looks youthful. She's working. A lot of you say that's the only twin you recognize. And y'all know that she keeps a black man on rotation in regards to what she likes. Look. All right. So she's got a new man. He's cute. He got dreads. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all call him a YN. It's because he got dreads. Just say he got a nice smile. He does. I love a good smile. Anyone else? All right. I've digressed. Let me move on. Let me look at my notes because I've really gone off of what I wanted to talk about today. All right. Let me talk about Ashlee Jenae. So if you guys have not seen this story, I think it's important for us to talk about the story just to get this information out there. There is this story has been trending. The story has been trending since the weekend. And yesterday we posted a short video talking about this story. It's very concerning story. Where's my picture of her? Hold on, y'all. I wanted to bring up the picture. Oh, here it is. I thought I put this here though. Guess I didn't. Hold on, let me just bring it up here, y'all. So Ashlee Jenae is trending. She's an influencer, and she passed away. She passed away while on a birthday trip with her fiance. At the time, it was her boyfriend, and they got engaged during this birthday trip. Well, she passed away while on this birthday trip, and everyone is saying that no, this is not sounding right. Even Cardi B came out and said that woman did not off herself. First of all, she looks super young. I believe she turned 31. Her parents are speaking out. They released a statement, but they're also doing interviews. And I'm going to play for you under fair use their interview. I'm going to stop and go just because, copyright. what they're saying, because the Zanzibar police have ruled it an unaliving. We can't use that word during the live, but they're saying that she took her own life. However, everyone, her friends, other influencers that know her, her parents are saying that doesn't align with who she is. And we then also found out, according to the police, that there was an incident between Ashlee and her boyfriend right before. The incident was so bad, they had to separate them and put them in separate rooms. Let me just give you the full report before we get to the video. So according to MSN, they said Zanzibar police state that Ashlee Jenae, real name Ashlee Robinson, took her own self. They said that she hung herself in a wardrobe, a closet, using a cloth from her dress after a dispute with fiance Joe McCann. They say the hotel staff separated the couple into different rooms before the incident and have ruled out foul play. So they're saying the police have ruled out foul play, with McCann not under investigation. Her family rejects this conclusion, pointing to her vibrant demeanor, recent engagement, and birthday celebrations as inconsistent with an unaliving, and labeling the death as suspicious passing. Reports differ on where and how Jenae was found. Some claim that she was discovered hanging from a tree. Others say inside her hotel wardrobe. There is also inconsistency in resort names and timeline of events. Authorities have not released autopsy or toxicology reports, fueling speculation and conspiracy theories online, including unverified claims of strangulation or staging. Friends like PR executive Savannah Britt have publicly challenged the unaliving narrative, noting that Jenae's apparent joy in future plans. Viral posts highlight her recent engagement and birthday as reasons to doubt the official account, with some followers pointing to earlier social media warnings about her relationship. The case has drawn comparisons to other high-profile suspicious deaths and have trended under hashtag Justice for Ashlee Jenae. So I'm going to play this under fair use in regards to the parents speaking out in a recent news report.
Action News reporter Cheyenne Corinne is live in the Satellite Center with the latest. Cheyenne.
Hi, Sarah and Brian. Yeah, Ashlee Robinson, she was actually raised locally in South Jersey, and now her death is making headlines across the world. Well, today we spoke to her family in Delaware, who say they aren't getting any answers about what happened to her from officials in Tanzania or her fiance.
My daughter Ashlee, she's no longer here with us, and we're trying to find out why.
On April 5th, influencer Ashlee Robinson, who goes by Ashlee Jenae on Instagram, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days.
Boyfriend of 1 year. I'm just going to say this. You don't really know people in a year. You don't. You don't know people in a year. That for me is a red flag. And now you're getting engaged. You're already on a trip with this person after a year. But that's me. I'm not the most trusting of people like that quickly. After a year, you don't really know this person.
She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
She was starting the next chapter of her life. She called us and FaceTimed us to share with us her travel.
Ashlee's mother says she never would have expected that less than a week later, her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashlee called, saying she and her fiance got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day,
So, did you hear that last part? So she's saying that Ashlee called her mother and told her that they had a bad argument and they had to move to separate rooms.
Never would have expected that less than a week later, her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashlee called, saying she and her fiance got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day, she received another call, this time from her fiance.
He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury.
So it took him 11 hours to contact the family about their daughter. 11 hours before he actually reached out to the family to let them know something happened.
Resort the couple was staying at called saying that Ashlee passed away.
So they're reporting that the resort called the parents to let them know that Ashlee passed away. So not your future son-in-law, not the man that's been dating your daughter for the last year, did not call you to let you know that your daughter had passed away? I mean, I'm not saying he did anything for legal reasons, but I do find it to be suspicious. Like, wouldn't you be contacting, like, I would be contacting my partner, like, I'd be devastated. Sidebar. I have a friend, mind you, I didn't know about this until later on. I had a friend that went through something similar. I could tell that story for another day. Maybe if you're a Club Kempire member, I will tell you that story. But that the crazy alignment of this situation, I will tell that story to Club Kempire. Stay tuned.
From her fiance.
He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury resort the couple was staying at called saying that Ashlee passed away. According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck.
So you guys see that? If you zoom in here, this is the report. It says there's an unidentified mark around the neck. No any wounds seen, not pale, not jaundice. Then it says, according to the husband, he found her hanged herself on the door. According to the husband. So, because there's also a narrative on social media where they're saying that they were separated, so the husband couldn't have done it. Well, no, they're saying, according to this report, they're saying that the husband went, he's the one who found her.
11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury resort the couple was staying at called saying that Ashlee passed away. According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, according to her husband, he found she hung herself on the door with several question marks.
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
Ashlee was also taken to a second hospital who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation.
She's never done anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
And the family says next they are considering going to Zanzibar themselves to try to get as many answers as possible. Now, we also tried to directly contact Ashlee's fiance, the resort, and the embassy, but we did not hear back. I'm live in the Satellite Center, Cheyenne Crime Channel 6.
Well, I understand why he would not be responding to media outlets. I just don't understand why he was not the one to contact the family to let them know. Because if you're not guilty of anything, wouldn't you contact the family? Like, I don't know what happened. We got into a bad fight. I don't know, y'all. We're going to continue to follow this story. This is really, really sad. We need to keep this out there, especially because we already know when Black women, Black girls go missing. You know, shout out to Garcelle, who's been bringing a lot of attention to these types of stories via her Lifetime projects. We know that the media does not report on this. I'm sure you probably have not seen this on mainstream media. You probably just seen this on the blogs and things like that. So that's part of the reason I say we need to talk about this, to keep a light shining on this story, because something is not right here. Something is not making sense. We're going to continue to follow this story. So that's just some of what we've been hearing in regards to the Ashlee Jenae story. If you've heard more and there's more information, please feel free to send it to me. I'm going to keep following up in regards to what's been happening with this. All right, let me move on. Let's talk about, let me look at my notes. What are all the things that I want? Okay. All right. I am going to talk about, let me get to Real Housewives of Rhode Island, and then I'll talk about Kimora, because I just want to kind of really sit in that one for a minute. If you guys just joining us, this is our Tuesday takeover. Don't forget, if you're listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you're watching this, you're not subscribed to our podcast, what are you doing? You'll get extra episodes, you'll get bonus episodes, you'll get additional content added to episodes like this one, and edited down versions where it's nice, clean, crisp, those types of things. So be sure to subscribe to the Kempire podcast if you have as well. Claudia says, where is the camera footage? I mean, all of that, what's probably going to happen is the family is going to have to request that. And I don't know how that will work in a foreign country, but we're gonna wait and see how this all plays out. All right. Damn, Keisha. Keisha said, oh Lord, not this boring show. It will be quick. It wasn't that boring. I have a lot to say, Keisha. Damn, wow. I am not one of the people that are like, oh my gosh, Rhode Island is amazing. I'm enjoying Rhode Island. I wouldn't say that it's amazing. It's only 3 episodes in, but it's been consistent. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying some of the cast of characters. Okay, let's get into Real Housewives of Rhode Island for those that are just joining us for our Tuesday takeover. For those that have been asking, Kempire, do you talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island? I do. I talked about it last Tuesday, and I talked about the first episode 2 weeks ago during our Friday live. There's timestamps. Be sure to check that out if you want to hear my thoughts on those episodes. So let me get into this episode because there's a lot of stuff happening in Rhode Island. There's a lot of weird stuff, similar stuff that's happening over there in Real Housewives of Miami. Here's the thing. First of all, the taglines came out. So let me just talk about the taglines. The taglines came out this past week. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring this up. All right, let's review, and you guys will let me know what you think of the taglines for Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Kelly Swanson's tagline, who needs a sugar daddy when my life is this sweet? Kelsey, for me, I'm on the fence about how I feel about Kelsey because she wants to act as if like she's not in a open relationship, polyamorous relationship. I don't care what you want to get technical. You're not married. This way, like, girl, this is your storyline. This is what's making you interesting on this show. Why are we acting like a frail thing when this is your storyline? Like, I don't get why you're so upset when people are talking about it. But okay. So her tagline, who needs a sugar daddy when my life is this sweet? How would you guys rate it from 1 to 10? Which one's Kelsey? Lord have mercy. Let me bring up the diagram. This is Kelsey. She kind of favors Rosie, but they're different. I can tell them apart now. Okay? Thank you, Tori. Tori says, Kemp, the skin is skinning, boo. Thank you. This is Kelsey. If you're listening to the podcast, I wish you luck. Okay. Kelsey's the one that has the sugar daddy. The sugar daddy. She's like, who needs a sugar daddy when my life is this sweet? Apparently you do. See, that's the thing for me. These taglines have to make sense. And it can be funny, but you saying who needs a sugar daddy? Clearly you, because we get to meet Bill this week. And Bill, he's cute enough, but apparently he can't afford to give you the lifestyle that you're used to. But you want a baby, and your sugar daddy doesn't want to have a baby. Okay? Exactly. Toya says 0 because she does have a sugar daddy. Yeah, but she probably wants to play semantics with that too and be like, I'm not in a polyamorous relationship, and I don't have a sugar daddy. It's a relationship. Yeah, but he takes care of all of your stuff. He pays for everything. There's also a rumor out there. I don't know if it's true or not. Allegedly. There's a rumor out there that she was a lady of the night. I feel for Kelsey because, as I've said to you guys before, I feel like Kelsey was groomed. She met this man when she was 19 years old. If we're talking about, based on what she's talked to, she lost her virginity at 14. I feel like this woman has so much trauma and she doesn't even realize it. She doesn't even realize it because she's so used to what this is. So that's the word on the street, allegedly, that she may have been a lady of the night. I don't know if she was a lady of the night for her sugar daddy, but makes sense. Makes sense. Transactional relationship. Rulla. Oh, Rulla this week. I have so much to say about Rulla. Rulla's tagline: I have a blessed life and I'm a loyal wife. Oh my gosh, Rulla.
Lies, the lie.
I have so much to say about Rulla. Rulla, this is not going to end well. Rulla, I think, is going to get a divorce. And I know some people are like, no, she's not going to get a divorce. This is her second divorce, it would be. I think she's going to get a second divorce. Based off what the news are saying, the streets are saying, and him still cheating on her, he got nerve to be cheating on Rulla. Look, I'm not saying Rulla's the most beautiful woman in the world, but she's pretty. She's successful on her own. I mean, and he looks like what he looks like. But okay, Rulla, I'm not going to defend you though, because the way that you wanted that man to argue with Joe Ellen, I was like, she wanted Brian to unleash on Joe Ellen. Excuse me? How would you feel if Joe Ellen's husband unleashed on you? Because he could. He was speaking to the man in that relationship. She says, I have a blessed life and I'm a loyal wife. 0. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever given a housewife 0. 0. You don't have a blessed life, and you're probably, okay, you might be a loyal wife. I'll give you that. Lexi says, Lord help Rulla. Rulla. Yeah, Ocean View says, it was a good tagline until all this came out. All right, Alicia. Alicia, really, for me, I think she's going to become a fan fave because she's so funny, but she's also quick. Because one of the things that she said in this episode about Brian, she's like, Brian came here in 2 costumes, one for Studio 54 and the other as a loyal husband. I said, who knew Alicia? I always thought Alicia was a little like, in the clouds, but she's funny. She's funny. She's also a Trump supporter, but okay, look. I don't know if I even believe that necessarily, because I don't believe she has like her own mind when it comes to her politics, but I try to give you all the information, y'all. So this is Alicia's tagline. Why settle for just a slice when you can have the whole damn pie? I actually think that's a good one. I think she's actually having a really good season too. And the pie has to do with, remember they have a pizza shop, her husband, well, her fiance. We're going to talk about that in a second. Why settle for a slice when you can have the whole damn pie? And when you get to know her story, that makes even more sense. Alicia, I'm giving this a 10. It's good. It's good. That's a good tagline. Why settle for a slice of pie when you can have the... Wait, why settle for a slice when you can have the whole damn pie? D Jelly says, oh no, she's MAGA? According to her donations. But here's the... Okay, wait, hold on. Based off of this week's episode, did she actually make those donations or did her husband make those donations? Because she says she doesn't have her own money, right? She doesn't have her own money. So how did she make those donations? Did he make those donations in her name? She says she doesn't have her own money. She has to ask him for money. So Alicia has been cleared.
Lies, the lie.
Alicia was... Oh, let me show you Alicia. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I know you guys are still catching up. This is Alicia. Lord, let me just show all the pictures, all right? So I just gave you Alicia's tagline. Alicia's tagline, why settle for a slice when you can have the whole damn pie? This is Rulla. Rulla says, I have a blessed life and I'm a loyal wife. Okay? And then this is Kelsey, who says, who needs a sugar daddy when my life is this sweet? All right? You guys have all the taglines now. Well, not all of them. All right. Let me know how you guys would rate Alicia's tagline. I'm giving it a 10. Ashlee. Ashley's a good in-between character. She's not offering too much. Her storyline with Jared is really interesting in regards to the business not doing well. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. So, and I actually like them as a couple. Let me show you Ashlee, because I know all of you are like, who's Ashlee? Who's Ashlee? Y'all going to annoy the hell out of me with that. Because I've learned who everyone is. Y'all could too. So, Ashlee, who has been on The Bachelor, that's how she met her husband, who is actually from Rhode Island, her husband. Her tagline is, my life is like a rom-com. When I'm not crying, I'm laughing. I don't hate this one. This is not bad. This is not bad at all. This is my first time actually really reading them, y'all. This is not bad. I'm gonna give this a 7.5. I thought this was good. And honestly, I feel like them as a couple. I like watching them as a couple. I think they're sweet. There's like a sweetness between them. Yes, there's some challenges with the business and how it's stressing him out, but I really feel like a love between them. Casey said they're an attractive couple. Yeah, that too. But I also like the love between them. Like it seems genuine. There seems to be like a genuine, like they really like go hard for each other. How would you guys rate her tagline? My life is a rom-com. When I'm not crying, I'm laughing. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. All right, let me bring up Rosie, my Taurus sister, who also has a Leo moon. She has a Leo moon like me. Okay. Rosie is the one that is a not political. She's a reporter. Okay. She's a media personality, which is great. Honestly, she made me laugh in this week's episode when she was like, I should be the relationship commentator. And then she reenacts reacting to what was happening between Rulla and Rulla's husband and Joellen and her husband. I was like, this was such a cute moment. So Rosie, my Taurus sister, who also I feel like has probably one of the best taglines, says, I used to report the news, but now I'm the headline. I used to report the news, now I am the headline. 10 to my Taurus sister, who, word on the street, y'all, because I got some information about this cast. Everyone hates Rosie. You already sort of seen the inklings of that, but no, word on the street, they still hate Rosie. So it looked like Rosie might have a tough season, but I'm riding with Rosie. I'm riding with Rosie, and I heard something else, y'all. This is just a rumor, but y'all heard it here first. I don't know, maybe you've heard it somewhere else, but this is what I've heard. The cast is speculating that her husband is...
How you doing?
The cast, I don't know if it comes out during the season, but I heard from some very reliable sources that they're talking about the husband being gay. That's... And I know now when you look at him, you're probably going to be like, that Frank Sinatra impersonator. I don't know, y'all. But that's what I heard. I heard the cast can't stand Rosie. They're all turning against Rosie. And, well, the good majority of the cast. And I heard that's one of the things that comes out during the season is that the husband might be gay. But when you look at their relationship, I'm like, I kind of wondered to myself, Rosie, the little digs that she's already taken at him and the personality made me kind of think to myself, why exactly did you get with him? Did you get with him because of the money? Because it seems like he's like an entrepreneur. He buys and sells properties and things like that. We see that in this week's episode. And I'm trying to think to myself, like, what exactly about him, Rosie, do you like? Because unlike Ashlee and Jared, I get like they love each other. I don't get that with Rosie and her husband Rich. You know what I mean? I don't get the love between them, and I'm trying to understand what exactly was it? You know what I mean? And now that I mentioned this, you guys will let me know. Okay. All right. So that was her tagline. I'm giving it a 10. I used to report the news, but now I'm the headline. And I guess when you see the season, you'll see why she thinks she's the headline. Oh, it could be that too, because you know how this world can be. You say that you're bisexual, and people automatically, including gay people, will put you in like, oh, you're gay. I always tell you guys I was bisexual for a summer. I was bisexual for a summer. Gus says maybe he's bi. A win-win. I don't think she likes him though. I don't think she's physically attracted to him. I just don't see it. I can see it with all the other relationships. Not Rulla. I don't see it with her relationship. Honestly, when I heard the rumor that one of the husbands might be gay, I actually thought it was Brian.
How you doing?
I thought it was Brian, but no, I heard it's Rosie's husband. All right. All right, moving on. Let's go to Joellen. I enjoy Joellen. I think Joellen, she reminds me of Teresa in a lot of ways. There are little funny moments that you'll miss with her. But I also don't, she's not less than smart like Teresa, though. I feel like she's a lot smarter than that. But she has some personal family drama that will remind us of Teresa as well. Kind of. And it's family drama, but not the same. All right. So let me show you Joellen, because I know all of you are like, which one is Joellen? Joellen's tagline is, I'm not trying to be mean. I just mean what I say. Oh, this is a good one too, Joellen. This is a good one. How would you guys rate this one? I'm not trying to be mean. I just mean what I say. I'm giving this a 10. I'm giving this a 10. I like this one. I'm not trying to be mean. I just mean what I say. That's a good one. I like it. Teresa says, Teresa G is the dumbest reality star to ever do it. Don't do that to Teresa. Toya says, we know who Joellen is. Well, good point. Lexi says, stop insulting Joellen. She's actually smart. But didn't I just say that? Oh, damn. And she said, Lexi said, and she has a real job. But that's literally what I said. She reminds us of Teresa, the way she speaks, the way she looks. But I definitely think she's smarter. Lady says, Joellen is a straight shooter. DJ G, I'm gonna just call you DJ. DJ says, these are better than the Salt Lake City taglines. I don't even remember the Salt Lake City taglines, but I've already picked out 3 that are 10s to me. That already tells me they're doing better. All right, Liz McGraw, aka Dolores. Okay, Dolores was in this week's episode. So far since episode 3, what has Dolores brought? Besides Dolores going to Kelsey, oh, they're going over there. Come here. They're going over there. Dolores is giving the same thing that she gave on New Jersey. Nothing. I'm sorry, Dolores. Like, don't take it personal. I think you're a very sweet woman, but you're not bringing anything. So this is Dolores' sister, but not really. Liz, who had a very interesting episode this week. She says, in the ocean state, I dispense the weed and the truth. She's a very interesting character. I like Liz. She's an interesting, inebriated character. She's very interesting. How would you guys rate it? Of course, we had to have one of the housewives mention, the location in their tagline. She says, in the ocean state, I dispense the weed and the truth. Remember, her husband and her are in the weed business. So I like it. Dare I say, am I going to give that a 10? I'm going to give that a 10. In the ocean state, I dispense the weed and the truth. Okay. Sparkle says, I thought they were cousins. They're not. She's probably cousins with her husband, though. They're not cousins. They're not related at all. Liz and Dolores. Toya says, Liz be high all the time. Is she high on the weed? I don't know. It's not giving that kind of high. But all right. But what do I know? I'm not a pothead. But maybe. Look, maybe. Okay. Everyone's affected differently. All right. I'm seeing a few 10s. I'm seeing 8s. All right. So those are the taglines for Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Let's get into this week's episode so I can get to the Kimora Lee story. All right. I'm going to jump around a little bit just because I don't want to go through scene by scene. I want to talk about the most important things that are playing out in this week's episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Okay. How would you guys rate this week's episode from 1 to 10? Let me know in the live chat as well. Okay. So Rosie and Ashlee, they're hanging out and they meet up with their husbands. So Ashlee sold her condo. Apparently, Rich had his own. He has like multiple properties. So he sold one of his condos to buy this house that is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. But he's going to expand it 5,000 square feet. Okay, fine. They end up talking about what's going on with Kelsey and her polyamorous relationship and her not owning that it's actually a polyamorous relationship. I think Kelsey doesn't know what that means. I don't think she understands. I don't think she knows what an open relationship means. I don't think she gets it. I think she might be the Teresa brain of the situation, if I'm being honest. Or maybe conveniently she doesn't understand what it means. We also have this scene with Liz and Jerry. Liz says that she has a good friend. Like, she was surprised with Alicia asking that question about her and Dino. This week's episode is all about Liz and Dino. I want to ask you guys, do you think anything happened between Liz and Dino? Honestly, I don't think so. I have to say, at first I wasn't sure, but the way that Dino and Jerry interacted, if any of that was true, Jerry would have found out. Jerry would not be so cool with Dino. So I don't believe it. Because him and Dino seem like they are cool. Like that's his brother. So I don't believe anything like that happened. I know plenty of women very much like Liz that are friendly with men that are just friendly with them. And if you saw them, and I wouldn't be surprised, I grew up on Staten Island. I wouldn't be surprised that rumors like that happen with other women on Staten Island. But nothing was going on. There are plenty of, especially in communities like this, that's the thing I have to say. Did we really need Real Housewives of New Jersey to come back? We have Rhode Island. It's the same thing. But I've said this too. I was thinking to myself watching Real Housewives of Rhode Island. New York, Real Housewives of New York, literally we could have had a very mirrored version of New Jersey in New York. Because we have communities very much like in New Jersey here in New York. It could have been very Italian-esque family here in New York. They could have done for New York. We could have also did an all-black cast of Real Housewives in New York or New Jersey. So I'm not so completely surprised that we were able to find something that looks like New Jersey in Rhode Island. And I'm thinking to myself, do we even need New Jersey to come back? Do we even need that? They are, though. They are coming back because, Bravo and Andy are greedy. And there is a large audience that still wants New Jersey to come back. They had millions of viewers. Okay? Anyway, I've digressed. So, I don't know. I just feel like Liz and Dino, I think that's just a rumor. I don't know if I really believe anything ever happened between them, to be honest. Especially just, for me, what sealed it was how Dino and Jerry interacted. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think anything ever happened. I think that's just like a nice little funny rumor that they have out there. But Liz is just like, don't be talking about that. Like, that's like my brother. That's like my brother. All right. I'm glad, though, I can bring back out my Italian, New York, now Rhode Island accent. Oh, okay. All right. So Jerry, they talk about, Jerry being away and, there was a period of time for like 5 years where he would be away 3 weeks out of a month. 3 weeks out of a month, he would be away with this whole sports fishing thing that he was doing. And Jerry actually asked Dino to look out for Liz during those times. And apparently Dino and Liz would hang out 3 or 4 times a week. Is that too much? I don't know. Apparently there's a big age difference between Liz and Dino. I couldn't tell. I really could not tell at all. Yes, Danielle. I don't think people know this. Danielle says Dino has a baby with Aaron Hernandez's baby mama. Yeah. So there's that connection. Okay. As they say, all roads lead back to Bravo. All right. Moving on back to this. So Jerry and Dino, Jerry asked Dino to look out for Liz. So they were hanging out 3 or 4 times a week when Tori says, yes, it's too much. I have to say 3 or 4 times a week, that is a lot. That does seem like a lot to be hanging out with someone. I mean, doesn't Dino work? Just saying. But it's also small town vibes too. Small town vibes. Lisa Romero says, Kempire, I am also Taurus Sun and Leo Moon, but gulp, Scorpio rising. What is your rising? Cancer. So we're very similar. Earth, fire, water. So we're probably very similar personalities, but a little different. Yeah, I got a Cancer rising. Cancer rising. The V-Light says, yep, I saw that. We're all connected in one way or the other. Some shape or form. Apparently, Liz and Jerry are connected too. By blood. But not that closely, y'all. Not that closely. Like it's like a couple of generations separation. Oh Lord. But they seem to have, I think what's saving the show is that there seems to be some real roots and connections between the women on the show, which people are saying is missing in other cities. Okay. All right. Let's talk. Rulla's husband, we found out, sent an email to Joe Ellen's HR department. So Rulla, honestly, I think Rulla knew about it, but I don't think Rulla had any involvement in what Brian was doing when it came to trying to get Joellen in trouble at her job. For me, I'm like, that's the part that I find to be really gross. You're mad at Joellen when you should be mad at yourself, Brian. You're mad that she might be talking. Look, the entire community, Rhode Island is small. The entire community was gossiping about you and your affair. Your lady friend is the one that posted it on social media. Joellen perpetuating it. Well, she put it out there. It's not like she heard it and then she was just like spreading it. It was already out there. But all right. But apparently he, like a Karen, emailed her HR department and spoke to someone at her job about her spreading the rumor that she cheated, basically trying to get her in trouble. All right. Kelsey goes on a coffee date with, I guess, her boyfriend. I don't know what to label him, but it's a friend. It's someone that she grew up with, someone that she knows, someone that her family really enjoys. It's very New Jersey coded. It's very Brooklyn, New York coded. Billy. I'm surprised they call him Bill. His name is William, but I'm surprised they don't call him Billy. So Kelsey says the hot topic seems to be who she's dating. Girl, stop. You're giving yourself way too much credit. You give yourself way too much credit. Her parents are very much aware of the lifestyle that she's living when it comes to her other boyfriend and her, staying in that mansion. Okay. So they're aware of that, but the family likes Billy. I'm calling him Billy. Her family likes Billy, and mom, you see, referred to him as her future son-in-law. Here's the thing. Kelsey's at the point in her life where she wants to have children. Remember, she met this man when she was 19. She's now about to be 30 years old. She's like, I want to have kids. And Billy, she asked Billy, like, do you want kids? He was like, eventually is not an answer because now you're about to hit 30. If you're going to be with someone, Kelsey, you want to be with someone that has a timeline in mind. Him saying eventually, you guys end up getting together. He's like, well, I told you eventually. I mean, 5 years, 10 years. That might be, that's eventually to me. You need to be a little bit more specific. So I think for her, she sees a possible real future with Billy. However, Billy gotta get his money up because Billy would not be able to afford the lifestyle. She doesn't want to leave the lifestyle. She says if she's to be with Billy, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. She wants to be a housewife. Kelsey, I'm giving you grace because I feel like you were groomed at 19. I'm just saying. I'm giving you grace. And maybe you were even groomed before then. And your current situation is just someone that continued the grooming. But yeah, I don't know. I get it. Everyone has the rules and particulars in regards to who they want to be with. I'm not judging that. But it seems like you have a real connection with Billy. However, you're not willing to be in a relationship. She says that he does well for himself, but she would still have to work in order to have the lifestyle that she has now. The VLI says that Billy just wants to have a good time. William just wants to have a... Deborah says Billy broke. Damn. I don't think he's broke. She says he does well for himself, but he can't afford, I guess, to give her the lifestyle that she's used to. Yep. She met him when she was 19. Toya says, can't have your cake and eat it too. I don't believe that. You definitely can. You can have your cake and eat it too. You could definitely meet someone that you're able to live the lifestyle and be able to not have to work and they want to be with you and not have other women. There are plenty of examples that we've seen those examples of that on reality television. Ocean View says she's not leaving the money. She's not. She's used to it. That would be a culture shock for her. all of her 20s have been this lifestyle. Not y'all coming for Billy. Poor Billy. Y'all coming for Billy Horde in the chat. Someone said Welfare William. Damn. All right. All right. So let's move on. Alicia and her doll collection. That's how I labeled this. Liz goes over Alicia's home and she says that she's got, the home is under construction and she has all her dolls, not for her daughter, all her own personal dolls. She loves the makeup. She has all these little things. She's got all these dolls. If I went into anyone's home and they had this many dolls on display, I would think something's wrong with them. But we've become familiar with Alicia in these 3 episodes, so I'm not completely surprised she might got a little bit of a tick. A little bit of a tick. But you also know part of Alicia's storyline is the fact that she has been engaged for 9 years. And now it makes more sense why she got engaged when she got pregnant, but did not get married. Because she revealed in this episode that she was given a prenup from her husband. And in the prenup, she basically would have nothing. So that's why she decided not to marry him. I don't know I don't know Rhode Island law. I don't know how that would fare now that you've been living with this man for how many years. I don't know if you still would end up with nothing. Because sometimes, depending on the state, she could, just because she's living with this man for a long time, she could end up with more than she would have if she had married him. But I don't know with this particular situation. Tori says, Kempire, not you judging Alicia. Did you see all those dolls? Come on now. Deborah says there's something wrong with Alicia. There is, but it's perfect for reality television. But there are moments, at least in this last episode, I'm like, Alicia's not a dingbat. She's not a dingbat. Like Alicia's got, she's smart because she's like, I'm not going to marry you under this prenup, because she's like, she doesn't want to end up like her mom, because she remembers, because she hasn't spoken to her father in years, and she says that her mom in their divorce ended up getting kicked out of the house, and her mom had to go live with her grandmother. So she's like, I don't want to be in that situation. I don't know and look, if anything, she's smart now because she's on this reality show. She's making her own money. She probably do get sponsorships and endorsements and things like that. So, if anything, she's working on her exit plan. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about her relationship with her husband. I don't get a red flag from that relationship. If anything, this is the red flag. That the prenuptial agreement would have left her with nothing. They haven't gotten married because she's worried. She doesn't like the fact that she has to ask him for money. Here's the thing, Alicia, if you ever watch this, make sure whatever money he gives you, always ask for a little extra. And that little extra, you need to put to the side in a separate fund, okay? In a separate, your FU fund. Because if he ever acts up, you will always have that money. You should have been doing this 10 years ago. However, now is not too late. Now is not too late. Just saying. But anyway, and look, Alicia, don't put it in like a regular bank account, because those bank account savings and things like that, you're not getting anything. There's a few different companies now that are offering online where you can, okay, I'm assuming I don't want to say she's not that bright, but okay, Alicia, let me walk you through this. Alicia, put that money to the side, take that money, put it in, because there's a few different companies. PayPal now has like a savings account that's like a 3-point-something%. I think Apple has something too that's similar as well. There's a few companies that are online that have high yield interest savings account, because a lot of these banks do not. You're getting like not even 1%. But with these new companies like PayPal, there's another one. I can't think of it because I have a bunch of them. Yeah, I got my own FU fund just in case. Okay, I got to start it from now, even before I get the man. So do that. That way you're at least getting interest. Okay? All right. Casey says, just say it. Alicia's dumb. Wow. All right. Exactly. Funky says that Alicia needs to work. Financial freedom is key. Well, she is technically working now. She's technically working now on this reality show, and I definitely think she has a long future with Housewives. Okay. DJ says, "Wait, Kempire, say the companies. I need just in case I get married." Well, you should be doing it anyway, so you can get the most of your money now. As I mentioned before, there's so many different. Maureen's mentioning some Ally, SoFi. There's a bunch of different companies that are offering higher yield interest than some of the banks. So anyway, all right. Yes, and I agree. Kathy says, but you can also look at Fidelity Investments. I have that too. Okay, I have that too. Look, MB, look us helping each other. MB says Fidelity High Yield Savings Account. Also, get some stocks. Set up your own stuff. This is the time to do it. Alicia, because I know y'all probably watching. And I'm not just saying that because everybody watches me. These newer housewives, they're watching the reviews, okay? You see what people are saying in the comment section and in the live chat. Start now and just have it coming out of whatever savings account that you have. Start putting that money to the side. And look, Fidelity, they will help you. They will help you, make the right investments, long-term investments. Just saying, be smart about this. I know you might not be the brightest bulb. Okay, so keep listening. However, we're here to help. Exact. Dimpled One says credit unions as well. Come on. We talk about this all the time. Okay, damn. Olsen Gal says Alicia had 10 years to put away that husband's money into a little account for a rainy day. We don't know she hasn't. We might find out on episode 8 that she does. We don't know. We're assuming. She hasn't, right? She hasn't. She hasn't. All right. Okay, I think we've talked. I can't believe we're talking about finances right now, but she brought it up. So she tells us to Liz that, that's her main concern. Okay? All right. Let's talk about... Oh, and Liz reveals in her marriage, everything between them is 50-50. Their business is 50-50. The house is 50-50. I'm not worried about Liz until I'm worried about Liz. All right. Rulla meets up with her friends for an afternoon lunch. Shout out to Rulla, though, because I saw Rulla, because, there's a lot of things happening right now between Israel and Lebanon. Israel has been bombing southern Lebanon for the last couple of weeks. So with prayers for everyone in Lebanon. So Rulla posted about this on her social media because she's part Lebanese. So Rulla in this moment is preparing a traditional Lebanese lunch for her and her friends. She catered it. She didn't cook all of the food, which is fine. I found this conversation to be interesting because we discovered a couple of things. Her friends seem to be okay with her forgiving Brian, unlike this friend group. She's like, don't care about them. Go to the party with Brian with your heads held high, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And they talk about, traditionally in their culture that it's not common to get divorced. Production was like, but haven't you been divorced before? She's like, yeah, but we're not. She didn't even say yeah. She said, we're not going to talk about that. So this would be her second divorce if she gets a divorce. So that might be part of the reason why she really does not want to go through another divorce. Maybe financially what she went through with the first divorce. Maybe because of what happened in the community, people talking about her in that first divorce. Maybe she doesn't want to go through that. Girl, but you're with a terrible human being, Rulla. Rulla, you are with a terrible human being. You need to get yourself out of this marriage ASAP. Let me bring up Rulla's picture because some of y'all don't even know who I'm talking about. Rulla with the bad wigs. This wig is good here, though. This is better. This is a better wig. But some of the wigs we saw during the season, I was like, Rulla, girl, you can't be a boss B and have bad wigs, okay? So her friends are sort of like, you're going to move on, move forward. This is why you don't tell your friends your business, because they will encourage you to stay in a situation that you shouldn't stay in. However, one of her friends was like, but if he does it again, there's not going to be a second pardon. Are we sure this is only the first pardon? Okay. All right. Moving on from there. All right. So Ashlee and Jared have a date night. I don't really have a lot to say. I do love them as a couple. If you're having a date night, I get it. You're filming a reality show, so you have to talk about the things that are most pertinent to your storyline. But if you're trying to have, a dinner date, this is the time that you guys get to connect. He comes from across the street. Rhode Island is really small. He's coming from Audrey. What's the name of the place? Andrea's. He's coming from across the street so they can meet up for, their little, date night. Why on your date night are you talking about the restaurant? Because then he starts, and I get it. It's part of the storyline. They're filming a reality show. I just hope, but here's the thing. I do believe that a lot of times people, even on their date nights, when it's supposed to be about each other, you end up talking about the kids. You end up talking about what's going on at work. That should be just about connecting with each other. It should not be about what's annoying you, what's going on with the business. It shouldn't be any of that talk. But they're filming a reality show, so I get that part. So he starts complaining about, the coffee machine thing is not working, blah, 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 and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, this is not sexy. I think they're a sexy couple, but this is not sexy. This is not sexy. Can we talk about something else? All right. Rosie and her husband discussed possibly having kids. Again, this is just another example for me. Like, I don't see Rosie wanting to be in this relationship with this man. I don't see her being attracted to him. I don't think she likes him sometimes. I don't know what it is. Anyone else get that vibe? But like, I'm not getting the vibe that she's into her husband. And for those that may have missed it, a word on the street, I don't know if this comes out during the season, but I heard that this is what they were talking about in regards to her husband possibly being gay, allegedly. I don't know. So they end up talking about Rosie, her wedding, and how she wanted to just have like a regular wedding, and her mom insisted it being the Catholic Church, and her mom's super religious. But then she realized after, succumbing to that, she realized like this is not normal. Her family dynamic is not normal. Okay. And her mom raised her on her own. So I'm guessing we're probably going to learn a little bit more about Rosie and her family dynamic and why she might be the way she is. Rosie says that she might change her mind because she's also saying that she doesn't see herself being a mom. He said, did your mom see herself being a mom? And she's like, I don't think so. So she's saying, maybe she'll change her mind in about 5 to 10 years. He's like, you're not getting any younger. Again, I don't think she wants to have a baby with him. I don't know. I'm not getting sexy vibes between these two. Okay. Savannah says Rosie said her husband was a former hottie. But how long has she been with him? Was she with him when he was a hottie? I need to see the pictures. Did they ever show the pictures of when he was a hottie? Was he a hottie? I need to see those pictures. DJ says that I think she likes him, not even loves him, but there are things he does that give her the ick. Cindy, you might need to swipe out of the live and come back. If it's not working, swipe out of the live and come back. Or don't forget, guys, you can watch us we're live on X, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're also live on Twitch. So you have a whole assortment of places to watch. Okay. Casey, good point. Casey says, don't you discuss whether or not you want kids while you're dating? I was thinking this too as well, Jen, especially with what we've been watching recently with Bozema, with Quad. Jen says that Rosie should freeze her eggs because she might change her mind. She might fall in love with someone else that she actually loves and wants to have children with. And it'd be down the line. I know she made a joke about it. She's like, she's going to be getting all the things. So even when she gets older, she's going to look younger. But your eggs won't be young. Your internal organs will not be young. So I'm not telling you what to do with your body. But if you think that there's a small possibility in the future that you want kids, you might want to consider freezing your eggs. But I also understand freezing your eggs is not cheap. Storing those frozen eggs are not cheap. The process of doing that is not cheap. The process of, going through all that is not easy on the body. So look, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body. Just saying. Okay. All right. Deborah says she rolled her eyes at him when he made that corny joke. I just don't get, she likes him. I don't know, but that's me. Guys are just joining us. This is our Tuesday takeover where we cover a variety of pop culture news and hot topics. Right now, we're talking about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. If you missed it, we have recapped episodes 1 and 2 last Tuesday and the previous Friday. So be sure to check that out. The timestamps are available. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. All right, so let me just fast forward to Liz's Studio 54 party. Who do you think really got, dressed the part? Who had the best costume? I can't even remember what everyone else had on. I felt like everyone kind of looked like they tried a little bit, but they didn't really deliver. Right? I don't feel like anyone really looked like Studio 54. Toya says insurance covered my egg retrieval. So then there's that option as well. Stinky says having children is expensive as hell. Can imagine. All right. All right. Osing says, to me, Rhode Island is the opposite of New Jersey. New Jersey cast came in the first episode pretending that they were all close-knit, loyal families and not married to the mob and pretending all the money was clean. Well, remember, we don't know what exactly is true and what's not true with the Rhode Island cast. Only time will tell. Angel says, Kemp, when you told me I'd be juggling, you didn't say it would cut into my Kempire time. These meetings. Sorry, Angel. Sorry. But here you are. You can always do the replay. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to this party. Let me just focus on the things that stood out to me during this party. First of all, Dino makes it to this party. Again, I don't think if something really happened between Liz and Dino is not coming to Jerry's birthday party. I don't think that's happening. So Dino comes. Bill, Kelsey's possible boyfriend, number 2, whatever, comes, but he's not her +1. Apparently, Bill and Jerry are good friends. Okay. Alicia had my favorite line of the entire episode. When Rulla's husband arrives, she's just like, Rulla's husband came in 2 costumes. One for Studio 54, the other a faithful husband. My favorite line of the episode. I said, all right, Alicia, let me find out you're quick with it. Okay? So Joe Ellen and Rulla and their husbands go to sit down to have a conversation. We see that Dolores is there. Dolores says, I'm gonna get me a Diet Coke. And then she runs over to Kelsey. Oh, Rulla and Joe Ellen are gonna have a conversation. So far, Dolores has brought nothing to the show. I know it's only 3 episodes in, but I'm just like, okay, what is Dolores going to bring exactly? But we shall see. I'm sure she's a good friend to the ladies behind the scenes, helping them navigate, but at the same time, no. She could have just been a guest, because that's the energy it's giving. My thing is, when you look at Marlo, who set a new standard for friend ofs, years ago she set that standard. You can't say that you're a friend of and bring absolutely nothing. She's bringing nothing. And it's so funny because I was just listening to Cynthia Bailey and Crystal's podcast, and they were talking about how with Atlanta, a storyline of being late would never fly. Like, she feels like production and the network would expect Atlanta ladies to bring more in regards to that. And then I said, I find that to be interesting because the whole storyline for Beverly Hills with Dorit is all about her being late. And it's always, she's late all the time. And mind, she's always been late. This is not a new thing, but that they made that a storyline. So I find it to be interesting, this friend of role, that Dolores is not bringing anything. Savannah says she's a fly on the wall. Deborah says not a thing. Miss Mellon Magic said like a scholar. Well, damn. All right. Moving on. So Joe Ellen and Rulla's husband. So Joe Ellen's husband really is the one having the conversation with Brian and basically saying, it's not cool that you're calling her work. And so Brian tries to explain what he did. He was talking with a friend and the friend knows, works there, and he's the one who brought it there. So Joellen's like, so you didn't write an email? Because I'm thinking she saw the email. So you didn't write an email? So I'm looking at Brian with the side eye. You try to get Joellen in trouble. You try to have her lose her job. Joellen revealed last week that her husband pays the mortgage, but her job pays for all the other bills. So that this would affect them. Like, they're a working class family. They're not sitting here pretending like they have all this money. So they're like, we have to work. So the fact that you cheated on your wife and now you're trying to get Joellen, trying to ruin her life after you ruined your own life. Sir, like, I was like, that told me a whole lot. And if I'm not condoning violence, but I wouldn't have been mad if Joellen's husband like was just like, bam. Because in certain cultures and in certain circles, there wouldn't be no conversation. There would be no conversation. It would just be when it's on site when I see you. I'm just saying I can appreciate it's 2026. That's not what he did. He decided to have a sit down conversation. But some people are not going to sit down with you when you're trying to come for people's livelihood. Okay? So they confront him about it, and he's just sitting there nervous, and he's at one particular point he starts grinning and laughing. She's like, "It's not funny." Excuse me, it's not funny. I don't know if it was nervous laughter. I don't know, or he's just a creep. I don't know. At one particular point, Joellen points out that the affair is still going on, and Rulla looks at him like, "Aren't you going to say something?" And what did he say? He says, "We all have things we do." That is not a denial that the cheating has stopped. Did you guys notice that? Mr. Melon Magic says Kemp doesn't support violence, but I do. Oh, damn. Exactly. Casey said, I don't like when people mess with others' livelihoods. Oh, Danny the lawyer. Danny Wade says if Joellen lost her job over that, she would have an open shut case. They had nothing to do with her job. My thing is the job would have been, she could sue the job too for firing her for something like that. But the job already knew that they couldn't. They already knew that they couldn't do that. TJ says that he's a creep. Deborah says he's a creep. He is a creep. Like that whole interaction between Brian and Joellen's husband, it told me everything that I needed to know. And at one particular point, Rulla's looking at him like, aren't you going to deny it? Like, aren't you going to say something? And Joellen's telling Rulla, I'm not blaming you. She actually feels sorry for Rulla, but Rulla she's like, stop bringing it up, stop perpetuating it. Joellen is not doing anything wrong here, Rulla. I know you don't want to hear about your husband's affair, but it happened. You knew it happened, and apparently it's still ongoing. And Joellen's husband chimes in and is just like, and everybody's talking about it. This is not new. She's not the only one talking about it. Everyone in these Rhode Island streets are talking about it. So when Rulla turns to her husband to be like, is this still happening? Aren't you going to say something? He's like, we all have things that we do. So Liz comes over inebriated because she's been having a good time at her husband's birthday party. And she's like, guys, let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. We'll talk about this later. So Rulla and Brian end up leaving. And in the car, Rulla's just like, what was that? And she also said that she wouldn't have minded him unleashing on Joellen. And that's why I was like, I can't even defend you, Rulla. Like, I feel bad for you. But at this particular point, Rulla, you have made this decision to stay in this unhappy, cheating marriage. And the fact that you were okay with a man unleashing on Joellen, I hope you get whatever you need to get from Joellen's husband. Because why would you be okay with that? And your husband was just like, well, I feel like you were handling it. You need to divorce that man. Speaking of that man, there's another reason why you need to divorce that man. Because as I said to you guys before, there's a situation going on over there in Rhode Island that I need to report to you about Brian Pontarelli, her husband, Rulla's husband. Apparently, the original police report from 6 months ago. OMG, this is a mess. Y'all want to see the mugshot? Lord have mercy. Hold on. Let me show y'all the mugshot. This is crazy. Well, this is not where's the mugshot? Hold on. This is crazy. This was him in court. This man, him and his wife, there's a lot more things going on over there in Rhode Island. Let me give you the report. A Real Housewives of Rhode Island participant is accusing her husband of placing a tracking device in her vehicle, according to a police report. The Rhode Island State Police report said that the reality star show participant Rulla went to the state police barracks to report that she believed that there was a tracking device in her vehicle on October 3rd. She stated that her husband, Brian Pontarelli, had previously admitted to tracking her location without her consent from late 2024 to early 2025 by logging into her vehicle app. Rulla Pontarelli also told state police that her husband had placed black objects that he claimed would improve the Wi-Fi, but later turned out to be audio and video recording devices. Are you kidding me? This is a mess. When I saw this, I said I had to get to the bottom of this. So this is Rulla's husband, and she reported him to the police. State police said that she alleged her husband knew her detailed location more frequently. That morning, she got a call from a professional psychic. Oh, not the psychic. What is going on? She says that morning, she got a call from a professional psychic that the two had been seeing, who said that Brian Pontarelli had called and the subject of her exact location came up in a conversation, the police report said. Not this is the police report. Officials said that she went to the dealership in an attempt to locate a tracking device, then came to state police. According to the police report, Rulla Pontarelli received texts that read, "Baby, don't do this. Think of our kids and everything. And everything, this will be a big deal on the news. I'll lose my license. I won't be able to pay you anything," while she was at the Lincoln headquarters. Troopers conducted a search for the tracking device and found a black device in her tire kit bag. Brian Pontarelli was later arrested at their home in Lincoln. What is the likelihood of similar stories happening in Real Housewives of Miami with Lisa Hochstein and what's happening over there with Rulla Pontarelli in Real Housewives of Rhode Island? So he was arrested. He was charged with placing an electronic tracking device in a car without consent, which is a misdemeanor domestic violence charge in Rhode Island. So Rulla knew her rights, though. Rulla, you got to give Rulla credit, because any other woman probably would have been just sort of like, why are you doing this? They would have found it. But no, she went to the police because she knew he was the one doing it. Unless at this particular point they were done. I don't know. No, but she said he was arrested at their home. So he was charged with placing a electronic tracking device on a car without consent, which is a misdemeanor domestic violence charge in Rhode Island. He has since pleaded not guilty to the charge. A source familiar with the Real Housewives of Rhode Island confirmed to NBC 10 News that Rulla Pontarelli is involved in the filming of the show. The extent of her involvement in the final series and whether she's a main housewife has yet to be determined. We now know that she has been confirmed as a full-time housewife. So that was a report from 6 months ago. Hold on. Let me see what else was going on in here. Because they're saying, let me just see. Da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Let me say da-da-da-da. I just want to see if there's, because there's another report about him. I just want to see if it's anything new or it's the same story. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute, y'all. There's more. There's more. So they said in late October, there was a lawsuit filed against him. A licensed practitioner sued him, Brian Pontarelli, his business, and an employee there. So he's facing a lot of litigation right now. The suit states in 2023, the plaintiff partnered with Pontarelli and another woman to develop, invest in, and own and operate the North Providence Med Spa, RI Aesthetics. Damn, there's a lot of things going on with Mr. Pontarelli. So the lawsuit claimed that defendants breached their joint partnership agreement, among other messy details, including that the plaintiff had constantly defend her license and advocate for proper medical spa practices. She claimed the business owes her over $100,000. The show, although it hasn't begun, it has now, because this came out 5 months ago, teases that Brian Pontarelli may not be in for an easy time of it. You may not know Rhode Island, but here secrets don't stay buried for very long, the trailer teased. Her husband's a foot doctor, but I think he's doing more than rubbing foots. That was Alicia. Alicia said that. Wow. So he's a hot topic over there in Rhode Island, y'all. He's a hot topic. So he's being sued for $100,000. All right. All right. We got an update. We have an update in regards to his charges. I'm just giving you the history. So 4 months ago, this was the update. So Rulla, you're in an abusive situation, it seems like. The criminal case against the husband of Real Housewives of Rhode Island cast member has been dropped. Rhode Island State Police accused Brian Pontarelli in early October of placing a tracking device in his wife's car. NBC 10 News reported at the time that a police report stated that Rulla Pontarelli went to a state police barracks believing her husband was tracking her, and investigators found a device in her car. Now, court documents show Rulla Pontarelli did not want the case against her husband to move forward. Rulla. So that's the only reason why this is not moving forward. He probably has been acting like a very sweet husband. I'm so sorry. I would do better. Oh, Lord. I told you it wouldn't be the second pardon. Because this would be the second time, like, you're placing a tracking device. So they're saying that Rulla is the one who says she doesn't want her husband, she doesn't want this case against her husband to move forward. Rulla Pontarelli is a cast member of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which is set to air sometime in 2026. As you know, it's already aired, but this was reported about 4 months ago. Exactly. Judy says a circle of violence. Lord. So he's being sued for $100,000. Rulla, you could do so much better, girl. But look, I can't tell you. Sabana says, Rulla, just leave, girl. So you already know this is going to come up during the reunion. This is going to come up during the reunion. All right, let's move on. Guys, if you're just joining us, our Tuesday takeovers. This is why I don't do Tuesday takeovers anymore. It ends up always being at least 2 hours. I'm not even done. I have one more story that I want to get into. But to keep us going, please like the video. Please share the video. Shout out to those of you, the 613 of you that have already liked the video. Shout out to those of you watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We appreciate you all being here. If you're watching the replay of this, please engage with the content. Leave a comment, a positive one. Share, subscribe. You know, show support for the channel any way that you can. All right? All right. RC says, thank you, Kempire, for doing the Real Housewives of Rhode Island separately. This is full. We had a lot to talk about. But yeah, I have more to talk about. So let me get into it. All right, let's talk about Kimora Lee Simmons. I know you're probably wondering why Kimora Lee is in the news. Because there will not be a call-in link, Toya. I'm not dropping the call link today. I'm already been up here for 2 hours. And I still have another story to go through. And I normally don't do call-ins on Tuesday Takeover. All right, let me get to the Kimora Lee Simmons of it all. So Kimora Lee has dropped the Simmons and is now just Kimora Lee. But as you know, there's been a back and forth between Kimora and Russell Simmons for a while. Russell has been in Bali trying to escape from accusations and charges and things like that. All right. Now, I don't know if you've seen it, but Kimora did an interview with Emma from the Aspire podcast. It was such a good interview. I watched it. I haven't watched any of Emma's other interviews just because, time, but I was really excited to watch this one. And I'm glad that I did. It was a really good interview. And I'm glad that I actually watched it because a lot of you will see clips from these interviews and draw your own conclusions and not have the context. That's why it's so important to, when you guys send me stuff, a lot of times I'm like, let me go see the full comment, the full interview and things like that. Because sometimes the context really matters, because the way that Russell is responding to this clip, you could tell he didn't watch the interview. Do I blame him? Do I really think that Russell Simmons is going to want to sit through an entire interview with his ex-wife? No. However, if you're going to come out and address something publicly, at least maybe you should have watched it, because in no way, when she talked about her relationship with Russell Simmons or her working relationship with Russell Simmons, did she throw him under the bus? Did she say that it was all his fault? She took ownership in this interview of like, you know what, I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. Do I think that I deserved more in regards to the sale of baby fat? Because you remember, she was pretty much the face and brand of baby fat. Baby fat at one particular point re-energized the brand that was Fat Farm. It brought in a lot of money. Apparently, it was sold for like over $100 and something million. And Kimora said that she got about 20 million of that. Does she feel like she deserved more? She says yes. For any of us that know anything about the baby fat brand, Kimora's influence in the baby fat brand, her reality show that documented some of that work, you know that Kimora actually surprised, I think, a lot of people. I think some people just, especially the community that know nothing about Kimora, just look at Kimora, oh, she was a model that married well. I don't think people realize that Kimora is actually a really smart individual. And I'm not even talking about her gangster ways on how she's staying in that Beverly Hills mansion rent-free for the last 5 years. I'm just talking about her business acumen. She is a smart individual, and some of that is highlighted during her reality show. So I'm going to play for a clip under fair use of the interview that everyone's still reacting to in regards to this clip, including Russell Simmons. Take a look at what Kimora had to say recently about the sale of baby fat.
Did you own a piece of the business?
Yes, of course, yes. But it was the smallest piece of the business, right? Because there was other guys and other partners, and the guys were my ex-husband's friends.
Did you own enough of the business, given your contribution?
No, definitely not. And that was one of those things that I learned, and that's, you live and you learn. I think we built that company up and probably...
At no time during this interview does she dog out Russell Simmons or any of the other partners that were in this business. She doesn't say that. You see here, she takes ownership. She's like, I was young, I wasn't smart at the time, but that's how you live and you learn.
Sold it for $100 and something million. I probably got
$140 million baby fat was sold for. She got 20 million of that.
20 million of that or less out of $100 something million. And the entire sale was based on baby fat, which you could look at the date, because when we sold it, Fat Farm was obsolete. It was still there, but that was not what you were selling it for. You're selling it for baby fat. And I only learned this because people would tell me like, oh, you have to come to work today. We're having this meeting with these bankers. We're going to sell it. And I'm like a little confused, but a little excited.
What did you miss going back in that time?
I missed all of the preliminary conversations. I missed all of the conversations about how great the brand was, all of the numbers that were turned in, all of the numbers on the business. So it wasn't that I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention so well. It was the fact that I wasn't privy to some of this information. Also,
and are we surprised that Kimora, although she reinvigorated the brand, are we surprised that Russell Simmons and some of these other investors like Leor Cohen that were a part of this, are we surprised that they were like, yeah, we're not gonna, Also, thing is too, she was married to Russell, so they're assuming if Russell's in the meeting, they're gonna have a conversation about it, pillow talk. But that's not how business should be conducted. If she's a partner in this, she should be at all these meetings as well. She should definitely be privy to that information. You should not assume because she's married to one of the partners that she's been made aware of everything, because you don't know what their relationship is like.
Because of the way that it started. The way that I started was under Fat Farm. And that's a key point, because everybody's always like, well, if she didn't have that, then she wouldn't have had the rest. And that's fair to say, but it's what did I do once I got my foot.
That is such an important part, because I've seen the comment section reacting to what Russell had to say. Like, yeah, she wouldn't have had anything without Russell. He funded it, blah, 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 blah. He met her when she was a teenager, a young girl. Some people might say that she was groomed, allegedly. But she came up, first of all, that alone should be able to tell you, like, okay, there's a level of manipulation and control that's already happening in this situation. So the fact that she was able to come in there and have a voice and have her, build a brand and make money for him. Just saying. And is some of some of the investment that he took into her or gave her, was that out of guilt or to keep her quiet? Some might say. But this is an important part that she mentions about the brand, because she's just like, it's fair to say that, yes, because of Fat Farm, that gave a boost to what we were able to build. But what did I do when I got it?
rest. And that's fair to say it was under Fat Farm. And that's a key point because everybody's always like, well, if she didn't have that, then she wouldn't have had the rest. And that's fair to say, but it's what did I do once I got my foot in the door? That no one did for me. It's not always that you got a chance to be in the room and be the biggest light and the biggest mouth and the brightest thinker. And I'm talking then, 30 years ago, in a room full of men and bankers and people that say, this is great, we're going to sell this, you're going to get all this money. I didn't get all this money, but you know who got all this money was my husband. And at that time, I was told and I was raised.
That's the question I would have asked. Do you know how much money did Russell get in the end of that deal? Just asking. In comparison to your 20 million, what did he get?
And taught that that was good enough. My husband getting it was the same as me getting it, but it wasn't. And I did not learn that until later.
And that's important to note too, because I think a lot of people think that because at the end of the day, if they get a divorce, is she getting her rightful share in a business that she helped bring in a lot of money that added to the other businesses that were connected to it? Because for those that grew up and watched the brand be built, Baby Fat outshined Fat Farm in tens of millions of ways.
Other things started happening and I said, oh, you know what? I don't want to be here. I want out. Can I stand on my own 2 feet? Well, I built this and that. I did this. My kids, well, no. You got this much of that. You got this much of that. When you start to go and look at things and try to split them up or get your business fairness, that's when you realize it's a little different. And it's different having a business and having a marriage. Exactly. It's different having a business and having a relationship. I had a business, which was my first child, then came Ming, and I had a husband. And my husband was like a bigger than life force at the time, right? In his own right, in terms of like music and everything that they were doing, being the godfather of hip hop. So you kind of learn to take a seat, even if that seat was kind of shotgun. And sometimes it was the back seat.
If you haven't seen the full interview, it's worth it because you already know Kimora is very interesting and very entertaining, but it's not even that type of conversation. It's an interesting perspective on her career and her life, and she talks about a lot. And so that was a conversation that I ended up watching, and I'm glad that I watched all of it. Let me just show you what exactly Russell Simmons had to say in regards to this clip that was going viral. So Russell Simmons, shout out to our friends over at the Jasmine brand, said this in response to this interview. He says, I gave her the brand which already existed. I put her in baby fat leather shorts the day we met. I found designers, made her famous, and marketed the brand with her face. Eventually, she learned and blossomed. She did a good job, but note, very generous of me. Wow. Wow. And he's saying this all the way from Bali, hiding from charges of people accusing him of all kinds of dastardly things. Signing off on settlements because of dastardly behavior. Probably similar behavior. Probably feels like he created those other women that are suing him for his dastardly behavior. Look, I can't remember because I was pretty young when Baby Fat was happening. I can't remember Baby Fat though before it was all about Kimora. Exactly. Monique says he sounds like Trump. Well, they used to be best buddies because during the Aspire interview, she also talks about when she was getting married to Russell and she had to sign a prenuptial agreement and it was coming from Donald Trump's attorneys. Luckily, she was friendly with Ivana Trump, and Ivana Trump gave her lawyers, and Russell's lawyers were like, no, why, what the hell? Like, why are you getting this attorneys involved? Because Kimora has always been smart. That's the one thing I got to give her based off of history. Kimora has always been smart. And that's probably why she continues to be successful and is living in that Beverly Hills mansion for rent-free for the last 5 years. That is no dummy. That is a smart cookie. I know we talked about a few dummies, but that is a smart cookie right there. And I'm not saying that because she's my Taurus sister. But it makes a lot of sense. But I can't give Russell just the credit. Because at the end of the day, yes. Did she get a boost? Yes. There are plenty of people, especially in this day and age of 2026. There are going to be so many Nepo babies But what exactly will these children that get the leg up do with that? Because at some particular point, you're going to have to give people credit. You know who's my favorite Nepo baby? Tracy Ellis Ross. And I don't think Nepo baby is a bad term. It's just a fact of the situation. She grew up privileged. She owns her privilege. I saw a video of her talking about her privilege. Okay? She's my favorite Nepo baby because she's worked on her own. Has being a Diana Ross's daughter opened doors for her that she doesn't even realize? I'm sure. But she even started her own beauty brand. She's worked. Come on. It's not just about having a name. There will be plenty of Nepo babies that have a name and it won't do anything for them. However, it's what you do with that. And I do feel like, yes, she got a leg up by getting this brand. Not everyone's going to get this brand, but what exactly did she do when she got it? She made it a household name. It was an era. And she continues to thrive in regards to this. So this is what Uncle Rush had to say on social media. I gave her the brand, which already existed. I put her in baby fat leather shorts the day we met. Wait, when she was 16? That would be my response. What was the day? How old was she the day you met? And you put her in baby fat leather shorts. He says, I found the designers, made her famous, and marketed the brand with her face. Did he really make her famous? Because at the end of the day, you know what made Kimora Lee famous? Her personality. There are so many models that are beautiful that did not become big personalities, that did not lead at the start of reality television. The start of reality television, she made a name for herself in the reality TV space when it was very, very new. Did you really make her famous, or was it her personality that made her famous? Because let me tell you this, and I've talked about this before, there will be people that will try and take credit for my own success. I'm talking about me right now, thinking that they gave me a leg up somewhere. But what exactly did I do in regards to that? I'm the one that's here building this brand. I'm the one that's doing the work. Because there will always be someone that feel like, oh, I gave him his first opportunity. I did this for him. There will always be those people that want to downplay the amount of work that you do. Don't let them. And I'm not going to let Uncle Rush do that to Kimora Lee, because we've been following her career for a long time. Her personality, well, first of all, her looks got her in the door with you when she was 16, maybe 15, allegedly. But what she did with that is the reason why people like Emma want to sit down with her in 2026 and have a conversation. And she can do that in the United States safely. All right. All right. Exactly. Roro says it's giving, quote, I made you. But you know what's so crazy to me? And look, everyone's going to have their opinions about Kimora, about people and things like that. It's the comment section. And that's part of the reason why I added this story to today's Tuesday Takeover. Because I saw in the comment section so many people like, he didn't lie. Uncle Rush is right. But y'all not, Uncle Rush is over there in Bali hiding from prosecution here. Basically, you guys are trying to say that she didn't reinvigorate a brand that a lot of you were rocking when you were a teenager. But here we are. Here we are. It's all right. Everyone's going to have their opinion, but that's why I have my own platform of almost 600,000 subscribers here on YouTube alone, and almost 400,000 on TikTok, multiple thousands on the Instagram and Facebook. I have my own platform, my own community where we can talk about the things the way we want to talk about the things. Here we are. Here we are. Thank you to our Kings Guards. Thank you to our channel members. We're almost at 700 likes. If you're a part of the replay crew, I want to know your thoughts and opinions. I will add the timestamps when I get a chance. You can also hear our Tuesday Takeover and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. So subscribe today. And when you're there, be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I appreciate you guys being here and being a part. I will see you all in the next one. There will be probably other videos and stories that we'll cover during the week. However, we'll probably be live on Friday for our Friday Live to talk about the things. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash apps. Appreciate it. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat. Nicole says, bought my first pair of baby fat jeans after her premiere in Genuine's video. That helped her brand too. I know that's right. I know that's right. Deborah says, almost 600K is crazy. I found you at 30K. Deborah, you've been around a long time. Ms. Mel Magic says, Kemp said, put some respect on his name. I know that's right. Thank you, LaTanya. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down in the chat. We appreciate them. And in the comment section. Replay crew, let's continue this conversation there. Thank you again, guys, for all of the likes. We're almost at 700 likes. Can we get there? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all. Here we go now.